Okay. While I'm going through the intro stuff, feel free to share how your progress has been so far with entry level. For example, I'm curious to know, have you started your portfolio? Are you working on it right now? Have you submitted? Maybe just put your progress, like you have submitted or you have not submitted yet, in the chat so I can know. Yeah, so I'll be looking out for your chat messages on whether you have submitted your entry-level portfolio or not. In the meantime, I'm just going to go over some housekeeping rules. So you probably, if you attended the first Q&A session at the beginning of the cohort, you'll probably remember some of these slides. So you already know about us. Just some quick rules again to refresh your memory. Please be respectful. Don't spam the chat. I would love seeing some engagement, answering my questions or asking me questions, but don't spam like random letters. I'm sure you won't as well. But yeah, and then keep mics muted unless you need to ask a question. Then you can ask by raising your hand on Zoom. So that's Alt Y on Windows, Option Y on Mac, or like click the 3 dots on the bottom right of your phone. Okay, so I see a lot of people have not submitted and are still working on it. That's totally okay. The deadline isn't until like a few days from now, so you're fine. And just by being here, hopefully you can get some motivation and tips so you can complete your portfolio by the deadline. All right. So the agenda, I just am going to answer some questions we often get, and then we can jump into your specific questions. All right. So, oh yeah, I already asked this question. It looks like a lot of people have not done the portfolio submission yet, which again is totally okay. Deadline has not happened yet, so you still have time. And today will hopefully motivate you. I'll be sending you lots of motivation and energy to complete your portfolio. All right. So this is the #1 question that we get. What if I can't meet the deadline? You can see your deadlines here on the upper right hand side. Unfortunately, if you don't meet the deadline, it means you don't get a refund and you don't get a certificate. Because you can see here on our website, it's like, you know, as long as you do the minimum coursework and you complete it, then you will get a refund. So if you end up not meeting the deadline, it's okay. You will still have access to the whole program, all the content, so you can finish it at your own time. But unfortunately, because you didn't meet the deadline, you just wouldn't get a certificate. But I have faith that you will all complete it on time. And again, the deadline is in a few days. So on the Wednesday, but it's Wednesday UTC, so you might have to convert it to your own time zone. And then right after that, 1 week later, the Wednesday after this Wednesday, it will be the peer review deadline where you'll get to see other people's portfolios and review them. Those two are the deadlines that you need to meet to get a refund or a certificate. So hopefully that's super clear, because in the past, some people were like, why didn't I get a refund? But then they would submit a blank page and have that as their portfolio. And it's like, we can't really accept a blank page because you need to show, you have to at least put in a minimum effort. So please don't submit blank pages or plagiarize documents or even just the template that we give you. As long as you put some effort, it doesn't have to be perfect work. As long as we see that, oh, you spent some time trying, it's acceptable, and then you would get a certificate. So hopefully that makes it less intimidating, because, you know, as long as you put in the effort, we'll reward you. That being said, please don't leave a lot of blank pages. There is a list of portfolio requirements, so just be sure to review that and have most of those required pages in the portfolio. All right, the other question we often get is an extension. Unfortunately, we say no to extensions because we felt like it would be unfair to some people who submitted on time, and then they'd be like, oh, I could have spent extra time on this. So at this time, no, but we're considering granting it for the future. We'll see. So if you're planning to take another entry-level course, maybe it's something you can look forward to, but still we try to be on time for the submissions. Yeah, so if you actually don't meet the deadline, we usually recommend people to try again in the next cohort. And then hopefully, since you already know the stuff that's taught in the program, you'll be able to submit everything on time. But if you do want to try again the next cohort, then it would be October. We're accepting enrollments for October now, and it wouldn't start till October 12th, I think. You can check on our website, but yeah, it wouldn't start until then, and then you'd still have to pay the commitment bond. But if you really feel like you can finish, then you would get the refund after submitting the portfolio. Another note is that if you had a health emergency, we are flexible around that. So please email support@entrylevel.net. You just have to provide some kind of documentation. If a doctor's note is too hard to get for you, sometimes like if you have like screenshots of conversations or like even Facebook posts. So that's like, we kind of still accept this to be more accessible, since I know not everyone is able to get a doctor's note. Yeah. Okay, so if you need help, we usually recommend asking your Discord team if you've joined one. If you haven't, you can email us at support@entrylevel.net. Except my support team is in Australian time zone. That's why I'm hosting this, because I'm from Canada. So they are actually sleeping right now. It's like 2 a.m. for them. So you might not get a response due to the time zone difference. So that's why we recommend Discord usually. You can also tag entry-level staff on Discord if you don't want us to miss anything. But yeah, I usually recommend Discord, and then you can access that through Teams if you haven't joined. But if you really don't want to join Discord, then you can just contact us through this support tab here. Except it's just the time zone difference, you might not get a super fast response. All right, let's talk about the premium package. This is my favorite part because I made these mock-ups and I'm so proud of them. Maybe put in the chat which one you are most interested in, or which one looks most interesting to you, because I am very curious to know. So this is part of the premium package. You would get the option to have all of this, the certificate, continued access to course content, the job seeker kit, and a reference letter. We basically ask you, do you want the premium package, yes or no? But saying yes to the premium package means you let us keep your money. So if you say no to all of this, then you can get a refund. So this is completely optional. It's just if you want the additional resources. Actually, in the past, we had some people look at the certificate and then they're like, oh, can I actually give you my money because I want a fancy looking certificate? So they had said, I want my refund. And then after they got the refund, they're like, I changed my mind because I want this pretty looking certificate. So that's why I'm telling you this now. Like, this is what the certificate looks like with all the badges and the signatures. It looks very nice. But the certificate, if you choose to get a refund, it doesn't have badges or signatures. It's just like your name and then like the program that you completed. So just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. That's why I feel like most people would be interested in the certificate or a reference letter. Anyway, I got a question message to me. What does a normal certificate look like? Yeah, I don't know if I can find one because not a lot of people post it because it doesn't look as fancy as this, but people still post it. And I think it looks like, it's just like purple instead of a fancy color related to the program. And then there's no fancy badges, no signatures. And I don't think there's a description. It's just like certificate, the program that you took, and then your name. It's very simple, but it does show that you've completed the program. It's just doesn't look as nice. So it's more like for aesthetic purposes. If you still want to keep your refund, it's completely fine. No hard feelings or anything. A lot of people have gotten their refunds before and gotten like the less fancy certificate. It's just, if you'd rather have these additional resources, then you would let us keep your money. And that's basically kind of how we make money, because we get a lot of questions about it. And people are like, oh, if you give students refund and you have such a high completion rate, then how do you make money? And it's basically because a lot of people are like, they really want these resources, especially the certificate and the reference letter, that they basically let us keep their money, but it's completely optional. If you really need your money back, it's okay. If you complete your portfolio, we will give you your refund. All right, so someone's saying the reference letter is such a cool initiative. Thank you. A lot of people post the reference letter alongside the certificate, and it's really cool. Like they post it on their LinkedIn and show it off to everyone. Okay, so we have some questions now. Is there a deadline? You'll basically be prompted if you want the premium package after you submit your portfolio, because this is only available to people who complete their portfolio and peer review submission. Because obviously we wouldn't want to be giving a fancy certificate to somebody who did not submit their stuff and didn't complete the course. So all of this stuff is available after you do your portfolio. So I would suggest you focus on getting the portfolio done before the deadline and the peer review done before the deadline. And then after that, you will get an option to say, oh, do you want the premium package? And then you can say yes or no. But if you say yes, you don't get your refund. If you say no, then you would get your refund. So you will basically get prompted to ask if you want a premium package or not. So don't worry about deadlines for that. Okay, so we have another question. Does it mean we're not getting a certificate upon completion? I'll get a certificate only if I opt out to not seek refund. No, because you will still get a certificate. It's just that the certificate looks different. The premium certificate looks a lot nicer. That's why a lot of people opt for premium. But if you don't want the certificate with the badges and the signatures, then you can still get your refund and still get a certificate, but the certificate will just look not like this. So it doesn't have the fancy looking badges to show off your skills, and it doesn't have the signatures. We have another question. So if I choose to do another course upon completion of the current one, is there going to be a special package since I finished one and am doing the other? It would just be like, if you do the premium package for the second program, then it would just be the certificate for that program. So it wouldn't be different. It would be pretty much the same thing, but of course the reference letter would say that you like completed the second program's course, or the program's name instead of the first program's name. And then the continued course access, like of course you would have access to like 2 of our programs now. So unfortunately, the premium perks are the same for every single program, even if you take more than one. You're welcome. Okay, so another question that was messaged to me is the reference letter customized as per performance, or is it a uniform standard format for everyone? It actually is customized. So I will show you. Let me see if I can, oops. Oh, okay, I'll just go to a new tab. If you go to app.entrylevel.net, just click on your experience here, and then you have to go to the how it works section. Okay, my deadlines are different from yours because I'm in the September cohort and you're in the August cohort. But if you scroll all the way down, you'll see these badges. I think if you attended the first information session that I hosted at the beginning of August, you will have learned about these badges, but now these are the badges. I'll just go over them again. The first one is independent learner. So on the reference letter, if you earn this badge, we'll say, oh, this is for somebody who has this skill because they demonstrated this during the program. So we will be sure to mention that in the reference letter. Team player is if you join Discord. Independent learner is if you did not join Discord. And then team leader, this one is the one that like a lot of people like, but it's very hard to earn because it's somebody who helped a lot of other people on Discord. But if you didn't join Discord, then you can still earn the independent learner badge. The on-time badge is if you submitted all the different modules before the next module opens. It might be too late to get this badge because all the modules have already opened. But the critical thinker badge is one that you can continue to earn. This one is related to the program feedback. So if you do your peer review and you do at least 3 reviews, then you earn this badge, and then it will be mentioned on the reference letter if you get the premium package. So all of these badges will be shown on this certificate as well as the reference letter. The reference letter, the certificate just has the picture and what it is, and then the reference letter actually explains. Okay, so someone's asking, is the content customized? No, there's only like the badge content is the customization. So if you earned independent learner and critical thinker, we will say this student, and then we'll use your name, of course, like it has your name and the program that you took. We'll say like this student earned this badge. This is what this badge means. And these are the skills that they demonstrate. And all the skills will be relevant to the workforce that a lot of employers have been looking for. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm getting more questions in the chat. So does opting for a premium package mean forfeiting your commitment bond automatically? I forgot how the question is phrased, but basically, if you want the premium package, then yes, you wouldn't get a refund. You would just let us keep your money. So be careful, like don't be opting for the premium package and be like, where's my refund? Because if you want to get all of this, it's you let us keep your refund. But it's completely optional. So you don't have to. If you would rather get your money back, then you can say no to the premium package. And I believe it's very clear in the question, but in case it's not, I'm just gonna make it super clear here for you. Okay, so someone's asking about peer review. Is it going to be sent to our email? And how many reviews will I need to do? Does my review affect the person's work? So you will get it through your platform. I'm gonna have to go to this. So obviously I'm not there yet because I'm on September cohort, but you can see here there's a module called Review a Peer's Portfolio. So all you have to do is click on this, and then you should see some portfolios for you to review. So it will be after the portfolio submission. So that's why you should worry about portfolio first, because you need to submit it for somebody to review your portfolio as well. And then so like just submit it first, and then 1 week later there's the deadline for peer review. So you will get to work on the peer review for 1 week after you submit your portfolio. I'm not sure how many reviews you're supposed to do, but just note that if you do at least 3 reviews, then you get this critical thinker badge. So I think most people aim for at least 3. And does your review affect the person's work? Not really. So we have a lot of people doing peer review, and if somebody gets a lot of people saying, oh, this person just submitted a blank page, or this person plagiarized, then obviously we would flag that and be like, okay, they can't get a certificate because they didn't put in the effort, so they can't get a refund either. But you know, I find it is very interesting, the feedback that people give to each other, because not only do you get to see other students' work that took the same program that you did, but you also get to see like how others give you feedback and then how you give them feedback. Because to be honest, now that I'm working and not studying anymore, giving and receiving feedback, that communication is so important in the workplace. So I really think it's valuable that you submit your portfolio so that you can start building up that skill of giving and receiving feedback, because how you take feedback is very important. Like obviously employers, they don't want people who can never, like you're like scared to give them feedback. They want someone who's always open to learning and can actually implement feedback from their managers and their team members. So you can practice that now here, and then you can talk about that in your interviews and say like, oh, I took my peers' feedback from entry level and I improved my work in this way, or I gave feedback to my peer and this is what I learned from it. Because I find that when I give feedback to other people, sometimes I learn as well. And that's part of the reason why we do peer feedback, because it's really to simulate a real world work environment. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, someone's asking about badges on the free certificate. Unfortunately not. The badges are only in the premium certificate. And that's why a lot of people, they said no to the premium package because they wanted the refund. And then they saw their certificate and they're like, I changed my mind. I actually want the premium certificate. And the certificate was the only reason why they changed their mind. So just keep that in mind. You still have a few weeks to decide if you want to let us keep your refund and get the premium package or not. It's just you don't get a refund if you opt for the premium package. I'll try to find a picture of the non-premium certificate and email it to you after this, along with the recording. So if your internet has been a little choppy, don't worry. The recording will be emailed to you. I'll upload it on YouTube and email it to you later. Okay, so we have another question. I want the premium package and to proceed to the next stage. Does that mean I'll make another commitment bond? Yes, because even though the programs say like level 1, level 2, there's still different programs. So if you go to, okay, I have to go back to this app.entrylevel.net website. But if you go to view experiences currently offering, oh, yeah. So here it says like 2, you can see that you would have to like pay again for it. And then if you even go to level 3, it's like treated as completely different experience. And the reason for that is sometimes people take like product management and then they take another one like Scrum Master or like UX designer, because it's kind of related. So even though it says like levels, it's still completely different experiences. But the good news is if you finish like data analyst and you choose to get your refund, you can use that same commitment bond that you just got a refund for to do data analyst 2. And then if you get a refund there, you can again use that same commitment bond for level 3. So we'll refund you and then you'll like use that same one for another program. If you really wanted to be economical, then I would suggest, working hard for like 3 or 4 months and then getting the data analyst 3. And then if you let us keep your bond, then your certificate will just say data analyst level 3. And then you can talk about it and be like, I took all the 3 levels. But if you let us keep your money every single time, then you would basically get 3 different certificates for data 1, 2, and 3. Actually, this is interesting because I interviewed somebody who earned all 3 certificates from us and then also earned 3 certificates outside of us from other course platforms. And I interviewed them. They had 6 certificates. Actually, her name is Alexa and she's so inspiring. So if you need that motivation boost, I would recommend listening to this interview. Here, I'll link it in the chat. Go to Alexa's interview. My tab isn't loading for some reason, but it's so inspiring. She talks about how she tries to learn every day, how learning is living. You have to always grow. She has tips for data newbies. It's really amazing. So I suggest reading the transcript there or listening to it. Okay, so for VC levels, right now we don't have any plans to do level 2 yet, but it depends on your goals. If you're learning VC to be a startup founder, I would highly suggest doing product management, because before I got hired at entry level, I actually took their product management program, and this helped me with my own startup before entry level. So you still can take other programs by us, even if we don't offer level 2. Some people take UX designer after product management because they got introduced to wireframing in product management and wanted to explore that more. And UX designer is all about designing the actual product. So like wireframes, mockups, things like that. If you're a startup founder, I also took the growth marketing program. And this was very interesting because it's all about how to grow your product or your startup. So that could be interesting for you if you're in VC analyst right now. And then right now I'm just taking data analyst because I realized that there's so much data you need to analyze if you're in marketing. So I need to improve my skills there, and that's why I'm taking that now. And then speaking of data analysts, here is Alexa's story. So if you click into this 6 certificates title, you can see all of the links here. Highly recommend joining a data community because it can really supercharge your growth. And then you can read the transcript here if you don't want to listen to it. Okay, so somebody who's doing a Scrum class and want to go to project management, other levels of Scrum, or take project management. I really believe that you need to just jump right in and get the experience, because think of it this way. A lot of employers ask for like a certain number of years of experience. And if you start early, you can say you have more years because you started early. So experience, you just learn so much from it. So I would recommend using courses online to guide you, but ultimately you need to be doing projects. And that's why entry level has portfolios in our programs, because we want you to be getting that experience and doing the projects. Hopefully that helps. There's a lot of mentorship and platforms available for project management. So I'm going to include that in the email. I'll dig up the platforms where you can find a project to volunteer for free, or, you know, like not everybody can work for free. So I'll try to find some resources and email it over. Hopefully that answers your question. So someone is saying, I want to attend 5 out of the courses and I'm ready to wait to the end, and I equally want the premium package. Do I have to pay or not? Okay, so yes, it is paying. So this premium package is offered for every single one of our programs. So if you want to take 5 programs and you want a premium certificate for all 5, then yes, you let us keep your money each time. So that means you don't get a refund. But if you only want the fancy looking certificate for like 2 or 3 out of the 5 programs you're planning to take, then you can get a refund for the ones that you don't want this fancy certificate for. And that's assuming you complete the whole program. But you sound like a hard worker, so I have faith in you. Just please note that if you want the premium package, you let us keep your money. So maybe you can decide for yourself whether you want to like save up for it, or if you would rather only get the fancy certificate for 1 or 2 of the 5 programs. Feel free to email me if you need more insight and advice. I'm jennifer@entrylevel.net. If you let me know like which programs you're considering taking, then I can try to advise you there and point you to some resources. Awesome. So I'm going to move on to what you can do after entry level. So a lot of you have said you're planning to take another program, so feel free to do that. And then I would also recommend following us on social media. So I post a lot of tips there, like free resources and stuff, and manage all of our social media. You can find us at Entry Level Programs, and I will be linking it in the email that I sent to you after this as well. I don't know if a lot of you know about these workbooks that I made. So it's to help you in your job search. So basically, it guides you through everything. It goes like the resume, what skills you need, and then you like fill in the blank based on your personalized situation. So this workbook is a bit more work from you because you have to fill it in and you have to do the research yourself. But this job seeker kit, that's part of the premium package that you would be paying for essentially, because you let us keep your money. This thing is a lot more like, it's less work from you because you just fill in your name for this resume template and then you read through all of the tips and then just apply them basically. So hopefully that's clear and that can help you make your decisions. I already mentioned the interviews and I linked them in the chat. Don't worry, all the links will be put in the email that I sent to you. So you can look forward to that. So these interviews are super inspiring. Like, for example, Ati used their entry-level experience to get a job. She actually did a growth marketing experience. and she used the growth frameworks that she learned. Like she talked about it in an interview and ended up getting a job. So a lot of our previous students were super inspiring. So I highly recommend listening to the interviews, maybe while you're cooking or doing chores or something. Okay, let me just exit so I can show you the workbook because the tab finally loaded. So this is what it looks like. You can see like you have to check off some of the skills, and then you have to list the requirements. Like you have to find the job postings yourself and then see like what you need for those postings. There's like tips for side projects, and then there's like, resume stuff. Like we have some tips here, and then you just check off what you have done. We actually also did a resume workshop, so we had some tips there. It's on our YouTube, which I will link again in the email. But if you search up YouTube entry level like resume tips workshop or something, I'm sure you'll get it. And then here, this is like interview preparation. You fill in all the interview stuff. But this is the data one. So if you are in like Scrum or something, I would highly recommend, even if you're like VC, design, Scrum, etc., I recommend downloading the product manager one, because that one is so interesting. It's like you need to turn your job search into a product. For designers, it's like turn your job search into like UX, the job search process. So you apply product management principles into your job search, which is super cool. And then I guide you through that. And it's like specific for product management. Whereas the data one was more like, oh, here's where you can find data sets and stuff. It's basically the stuff that we post on social media for our tips. So I'm super proud of this workbook that I made, and you can find it on here, go.entrylevel.net/workbooks. So, okay, so someone's asking, do we get scored by our fellow learners because we are reviewing other people's projects? Actually, yes, you do get scored by other learners. That's part of the, because we just have so many people. We have hundreds of students. And actually, did you know that the entry-level team is only like 10 people? So we're still a small startup, hoping to grow really fast. But because we only have like 10 people and there's hundreds of students, unfortunately, we can't review the portfolios. And that's why we do peer review. But part of the other reason why we chose to do peer review is it really simulates the real world environment, because often in the workplace, there's no right or wrong answer. And you often have to Google a lot of things. Like even now working at entry level, I always Google like, oh my gosh, how do I do SEO, blah, blah, blah. And you just learn on the job, which is amazing. And I love it. But that's why some of you might be like, oh, I had to Google a lot of stuff during the program, but it's because you also have to do it at work. So you can then tell to the people who are interviewing you, oh, I am a person who goes and finds a solution no matter what. I learned everything, like you can really play it up as something that will help them, make them hire you, because you already had that experience finding the solution yourself. Sorry, I got off track from the portfolio part, but yeah, often in the workplace, like I said, you will have to review your coworkers' work, and then they'll have to review you. I did not expect how much feedback you would be giving to each other. So for example, like I would say like I'm pretty young, and like this is my first full-time job at entry level, and I kind of expected, like, I didn't expect to be reviewing other people's work so much, because I am like pretty new. They, I would say, are a lot more experienced, and they would often ask me to review their work. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm like an expert in this, but they're like, no, we still really appreciate your feedback. And we just give each other feedback. And that was a really valuable experience. And you'll get to experience a part of it in this peer review simulation. Hopefully that sheds some light onto why we do this. Again, like everything we make at entry level, like this whole program is really designed to simulate a real world job, so you can get that experience. So if you're like frustrated by some part, I feel like sometimes, you go to work and you get frustrated by some things. It's like part of it's like a real job. So you can really play up that experience and be like, oh, entry level, I did this with entry level, and this is how it's going to help me in the workplace. I really encourage you to be creative about it. And if you need tips on like how to spin the experience and make the most of it in interviews and stuff, I left my email in the chat, so you can ask me there with your specific experience. Okay, how long does it take to get a certificate after submitting? I believe so after the peer review deadline, we have to like go through all of the portfolios that got a bunch of zeros and then like see if it was actually plagiarized or if the peers were just like they had technical difficulties and that person actually deserved like a 5. And 5 is like a great portfolio, by the way. So offboarding officially closes on October 15th. That's a Saturday. And I believe you should be getting your certificate and stuff a little bit after that. So that's why you should focus on completing your portfolio first. Like that has to be done before you do peer review, and peer review has to be done before you get your certificate. So maybe just take it one step at a time. And if you want an update on like when your certificate is going to get to you, then you can just email us at support@entrylevel.net. But again, we're in a different time zone, so we might not respond like within the minute, but we'll get back to you. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm gonna go back to this. So if you're interested in joining our alumni community, I'm trying to convince people to let me start a little community. So please fill out this type form. I will link it to you in the email, or I can do it in the Zoom chat right now. Yeah, so if you're just interested in more networking with other people who've taken an entry-level program, or even just getting tips from them about what they're doing now after and how they're getting more experience, please fill out this form, because I really am curious to see why people are interested in joining some kind of community. Okay, so now we have Q&A, but I've seen some questions in the chat already. So if you have any more questions, feel free to raise your hand. Wait, here's how you raise your hand again. Yes, feel free to raise your hand or put it in the chat and I'll answer it now. Oh, and I found, that's the type form, by the way, for the alumni community form. All right, so I'm a beginner in data analytics. Let the facilitators of the recorded videos slow it down and come to a beginner's level for easy understanding. The modules are getting difficult as we are proceeding. Thank you. Okay, dude, I'm also a beginner at data analytics, don't worry. So far for me, when I'm taking data, I think it's easy so far, but I'm kind of scared for the data visualization in Tableau. So I'll see how I feel with it, and then I'll also pass on your feedback to the team. But to be honest, part of the difficulty is what I like, because I love a challenge. So thanks for giving your feedback. I will ask the team if there's something that they can do to make it, like slow it down, make it more easy. But yeah, I think if you're taking data level 1, it should be completely beginner friendly. But if you need additional support, like you can reach out to the Discord via the Teams tab, or like email us. We actually answer your questions about the program. So if you're having difficulty with one of your tasks, go to support@entrylevel.net and email us, or use the support tab and then be like, help. And then just like write down like which program you're in, like what you're struggling with. Any screenshots would be super helpful. So if you want to attach a screenshot, you probably have to just like email us at support@entrylevel.net. Awesome. I'm gonna quickly go through some questions that were sent in earlier. Someone saying, I need assistance with finding a remote job that would hire me without any experience but the one I received from entry level. So again, I would highly recommend using this data analyst, not just data analyst, but like these job search workbooks. You can find them at this link. I think I linked it in the chat earlier, so you can grab that there. I think if you need more specific advice, you can always reach out to me, Jennifer@entrylevel.net, and I'll try my best to help there. But like I said, there's a lot of parts of the program that simulate a real world work environment. So you can say, oh yeah, like I had experience giving and receiving feedback. I had experience doing my own research and like doing all of this work. Honestly, and a very interesting story I like to tell is that one of his students reached out to me and ended up showing me his portfolio. He was in the UX design program and his portfolio was so good that I shared it with my team at entry level and they were also blown away. So really try to put effort into your work because your work can speak for itself. And because I showed it to our team and I'm like, oh my gosh, our student did this. He's so talented. Then we ended up interviewing him. I don't know if he got the job or not, but like it's still in the process. We're giving him like a task to work on, but you know, you really let your skills you've learned and all your work speak for itself. Because sometimes companies ask you to do like a take-home project just to demonstrate your skills, and that's why I think the skills you learn are the most important. Can a person without programming and coding knowledge do data level 2? I would say so. If you already done data level 1, that's great. You're like already ready for data level 2. Because on our website, hopefully this loads. Yes, okay. If you click onto data 2, you will see that the only prerequisite you need is data level 1, and you've already got that. So it should be good. There is some SQL stuff, but they do walk you through it. There's a whole guide and everything. And again, if you need help, you can always reach out to the Discord or to the entry-level team support. So I would say like have faith in yourself. I really think you would be able to do it. Don't be scared and like miss out on learning the skill that could help you in the workplace. And the worst thing, like in the worst case scenario, like maybe you would find it too difficult, but that's okay because there's still people there to support you. So I would just say, go for it. Don't doubt yourself, because that's actually another inspiring part of our interviews. Some of these people, they're like, you should never stop your own growth. Like Lola, she is so inspiring. Like you need to just continue growing. Don't reject yourself before others reject you. So I would really recommend like going for the opportunities. Like that person I was talking about, the UX design student at entry level, if he had never sent me his portfolio, he wouldn't have gotten an interview with us. And his work was really great, actually. So, you know, just jump at all the opportunities you can. Just have faith in yourself and your work. And the worst they can do is say no. And even then, you're no worse off than you were before. So that would be my answer to that. Hopefully it helps a little bit. Okay, I think that was most of the questions. Okay, we do have one question asking about the portfolio specifics. So apart from the module submissions, do I have to submit a separate portfolio? Yes, you do. So you can see, for example, in the data program, I'll be doing like pivot tables and like data visualizations. That's why you should not be scared of your portfolio, because technically you already did all of the work here. You just have to put it all together and like put your name and like a description about yourself and then put it together in one document. So you've already done most of the work. You just have to put it together into a document. And then like for data, there's a project, but yeah, you just have to put it all together and submit that. If you want to change some of your work from before, like for example, if you're not happy with your data visualization and you want to change it, that's fine. You can change it and make it a portfolio that you're really proud of. And that is what you submit. If you don't have time to change stuff, that's also okay, because you'll still get a certificate as long as you show that you put in some effort and you like none of the pages are just like blank pages. I think somebody submitted their vaccination thing once, like their proof of vaccination for COVID. So that was like, please don't submit that stuff. Just your portfolio, no blank pages, no plagiarizing, no other random documents, because people do review it and then they flag it, and then our team goes in and we look at what's going on. And then you can expect to get or give very comprehensive feedback to people and say like, oh, this is really great job, or like I liked this page and here's why, or like this page had a mistake on it, blah, blah, blah. So it can be very helpful to do peer review, but you only get to do peer review if you submit your portfolio on time. So if you go to how it works, all the timings will be there. For you, it's actually in a few days on Wednesday, but that's UTC time zone. So you have to convert that to your local time zone. Yeah, so I really think the first thing you need to do after this is to start working on your portfolio. Then you can worry about all the other stuff like the peer review, the premium package, etc. Because if you don't complete your portfolio, you won't even get the option to get the premium package. So the portfolio is the most important part. Like you need to submit that. Hopefully that's clear. I don't think we have any more questions today. So I think I'll end it here. But again, you can always email us at support@entrylevel.net or check us out on Discord and like ask questions there. And of course, if you want, like especially if you're a UX designer or a marketer, if you're taking one of those programs, or even a startup founder, and you want some advice from me about your personal situation, feel free to email me at jennifer@entrylevel.net. I'd love to help. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. And yeah, good luck on your portfolio submission. Oh, okay. So someone's asking, the deadline is shown as September 20th, 11:59 p.m. UTC. Okay, I would trust that the deadline that you're seeing on the platform instead of me. Just make sure to note it down what you see on your program website. So if it says September 20th, then it's probably September 20th. Yeah, I think maybe I made a typo. I'll have to double check. I'll email everything over. I'll check with my coworkers once they wake up in a few hours and email over everything, the links and the specific deadline. Okay, so it might actually be September 20th. So just trust the deadline on your platform. Thanks for catching that. All right, I'm going to stop the recording now.